Hello, and welcome to Entropians Guide to the Universe. And I'm Melanie Storemonger, and I'm here with Solis Storemonger.
Hello, everybody. I do have a little bit of good news for everyone. We did make it into the Entropia Creators Club for content, so yay. Today we're going to be going over space and what you need to do to prepare to go to space.
Yes. And to go into space, you're going to need a space-capable ship, and I have a quad. And you're also going to need a space thruster, and I have a backup one.
Now you're going to want to make sure you have enough oil to get to places, and as a general rule, if you're going into space, you want at least 150 units of oil in your ship. That way, you can, with 150 units of oil, you can make it all the way to next island. You may not be able to come back, but you'll at least make it to the planet you're going to.
And so with your space thruster, you just grab it and put it onto your ship, and it'll put it on there for you, and it'll show you that you have the attachments and how the percentage of your space thruster is there. I think every time you go into space, it takes 75 heck off of your space thruster, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure. We can check it when we get into space, though. I don't remember how much it does.
It was a question at SSI one time, so yeah. That's how I know. And so I have crude oil, and let me show you how to refine that. Of course, I always push R instead of E. So, in with your refiner, you take your crude oil, you put it in here, and you go refine. And the weight, the conversion weight is 2-to-1. So you put in 2 crude oil, and you get out 1 regular oil. And then you come over here to your ship, you go refuel, then you go get your crude oil or your oil, and you plop it in there, and you go submit, and that's how you fuel up your vehicle.
Now, just to be clear, she already has some fuel in her vehicle. That was for demonstration, just to show you guys.
It's from what I had left over from the last time I went mining for oil.
She's already got enough fuel in her ship to go, but that was, just for demonstration. Now, we are going to show you a little trick here with some of the things you can do for loot that will prevent them from being looted if you do get hit.
And to see how much fuel you have in your vehicle, you go view information, and then you hover over it, and I have 334.65 units of oil. And it tells you the PED value.
Yeah, so she's got plenty.
So I got plenty. And crude oil is lootable in space, and so is oil. Regular oil for your ships and stuff. So if you put it in a vehicle, it is not lootable, but if you keep it in your inventory, it is lootable.
Correct. Now, the thing is, the 2 things that are lootable in space are your materials and what else? And your mining.
Yeah.
So, Melanie's going to show you how you can figure out if something is lootable or not.
I have... Of course, I always hit the wrong thing. If you hit it and you go view information on the basics page, it'll say, warning, this item can be lootable in PvP areas.
Now, one thing to note about
space is lootable PvP.
Right. It's lootable PvP through all of space, except around the space stations, I believe. There's a certain range that you can't shoot anybody in, but I think it's like 1 AU or something. It's not very big.
So, sweat is also So I'm gonna I only had this focus lens out just to show you guys what it is. So let me throw this in storage. I don't have a lot here because Cali is not my normal home. What is lootable? But there's a trick you can, because see, it says lootable in PvP areas, but there is a trick to that. If you put it in your refiner just by itself and you refine it, and it gave me a vibrant sweat crate. Vibrant sweat crates are really heavy, but they're really handy. Let me pin this so we can compare. Oh, I need to view information of that. Okay, this does not have the warning that it says items can be looted in PvP.
Yeah. Now you'll note the difference there, that crates cannot be looted. However, when you make crates, some refiners have limits on the batch size you can make, so you might end up making more than one crate. And it is really hard on a refiner to refine it into a crate and then turn it back into vibrant sweat. Now there are 2 other items you can do this with, right?
There's probably more. All your mats for your Mission Galactica can be put in your refiner to turn into crates.
Right. So anything that has to do with Mission Galactica, which sweat is a big part of that mission, and so is animal muscle oil and animal eye oil. And there's a few other things that you have to gather that I haven't tried it yet, but I'm assuming you can also turn into crates, because I don't know what those requirements are. I'm not that far in the mission yet.
Because in Mission Galactica, you have to land on space stations to turn in the materials. And when they started it, people were getting those mats pirated, and it was...
Yeah, it used to be a big mess.
A lot of people.
It used to be a big mess before they made the ability to make crates.
My refiner is the Next Island refiner, and it's the TT1, and there's only full TT is 2 ped. So with this one, I can only do 5,000 or 5K sweat at a time with my refiner.
You know, I'm gonna have to check that, because my Imperium refiner, it might have the same limits. That might be something that I'm not correct on, but I will do some further research on that and get back to you on that. But I'm pretty sure that the batch sizes have to do with what kind of refiner it is.
I've actually looked into that, and it depends on how much TT value you have on your refiner. Because your Imperium has a higher TT value, it can do bigger batches than mine can.
Okay, that makes sense. See, that's something I didn't know. All right, well, that clears that up. So depending on the TT value of your refiner, it determines the batch size on the crates you can make.
And now I'm rocking really slow.
Because it's really heavy. You'll notice that crate, if you look at her carry weight now, is 125,260 kilograms, where before it wasn't that. That's because those crates are extremely heavy.
So I just stand at a repair unit refine, because I'm taking all 15K that I have with me. So I need to repair that.
Yeah, you'll notice she started with a full TT refiner, and now she's down to, one more go with a crate, and that would have been it for that before she would have had to have repaired it again. So it does take a toll on your refiners depending on, your TT value.
And I have 33 left over, but I'm not gonna...
Yeah, that's not enough to put in a crate anyway.
Well, you can, but I'm not worried about 33.
Right.
Let me fix this up.
That's what I was getting at with the batch size. So make sure, if you're going to turn it into a crate, that you have a significant amount, because otherwise you're going to waste a lot of ped making crates and refining them back into sweat when you get where you're going.
That took me 6 ped to
right.
get that. But then I'm not losing the sweat that I need for the mission that I have on Serene.
Right, exactly. So they're useful, it's just a little hard on your refiners.
And they can be converted back to
the sweat
when I get...
Yeah, when we get to where she's
to
going.
where I'm going.
We'll show you the process to turn that back into sweat.
Shrapnel, I've already, I grabbed all my blueprints, and I've already grabbed everything that I needed to go, and I'm pretty much empty. Nothing that I have except for my shrapnel and this little bit of sweat or, lootable right now. So, instead of taking it like this, my 13 ped, almost 14 ped, excuse me, I'm just gonna convert it to ammo, and to universal ammo, and view information. Universal ammo basic, there's no warning that it's lootable.
Yeah,
so
you can't loot ammo.
You can't loot ammo, but you can loot shrapnel, so that's why you convert it when you're going into space, so you're not gonna get a chance to lose that. None of your weapons are lootable.
The only thing that's lootable is in the materials.
Your mats crate, or your mats, and your resources.
Now, there are certain things that, even though they may be in your materials, they aren't lootable. Like, say, your ARC faction badges there. Those are not lootable, so those are okay to take with you just as they are. You don't need to do anything special with those.
Because it doesn't say lootable.
Right, those are soul-bound anyway. Because you can't sell them or trade them either. So, general rule of thumb is going to be anything that's soul-bound isn't lootable, plus there's a few other things that may or may not be. What the hell?
Those are sweat crates or something.
I never noticed those.
I went out the back door, I think.
Maybe that's why I've never seen them. I don't go that way. I've never noticed those before.
Now I'm walking slow and I gotta walk all the way around the building to place my ship.
Right. As you can see, it really does weigh you down a lot when you make those crates. Even if it only has 1 unit of sweat in it, it's still gonna put you overweight. It's because it's the weight of the crate itself, not the contents of the crate.
Walking so slow.
We should have done the conversion outside, but that's okay.
Actually, no, I needed to stay there by the, so when you do convert it, you need to stand by the repair unit so you can repair your refiner. That's why I wasn't outside.
Right.
Now, if there's a repair unit that's outside, that one would have worked just as well, but this is where I logged out last night.
Well, another thing is my refiner has a higher TT value than yours, so I can kind of get away with that a lot easier than you can.
Okay. So, I have gas. Before you go into space, you are going to want to make sure you have a vehicle RK, at least the RKO, if you do get hit by pirates. And welding wire to go with it. And yep, mine needs to be fixed before I go into space, so let me pick one of these. Equip. And how you fix your vehicle, because I got the welding, it uses welding wire as ammo basically. And you put your mouse over it and you push E, and it'll fix your quad up.
Or whatever vehicle you're using.
Or, yes, or whatever. In my case, it's my quad.
Right.
That's why I said your quad. Sleipnirs can also go into space. There are also guns that you can put on your ship. I don't have any. And you push your space bar to go up. And you can leave the planet from anywhere.
Yeah. Any location on the planet you're currently at, you can go into space from. Now, when you get to the planet, there's a specific place you're going to spawn every single time, but that's just because of the way that the CryEngine works. Now, leaving a planet, you can leave from any location that you're currently at. And to go to space, you just go straight up. And it takes a minute to get there, of course, because you are going into space.
I prefer leaving from Port Atlantis Mall. And then it'll give you a prompt. It says, do you want to enter space? Note that all space is lootable PvP except for parking areas around the space station. Descending to a planet by spaceship is free. Teleporting from a space station to a planet is 7 pet. So yes, I want to go into space. And it's gonna plop me out close to the space station, so I'm not in lootable space as soon as you get out there. Then you're gonna want to mark where you're gonna want to go on your map.
Now, generally, as a rule of thumb, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves here. You generally want to set up your waypoint before you get into space, but since she's in a non-PvP parking area, it's fine. It's fine to do it here.
I never pull mine up until I'm into space. He pulls it up before.
Yeah, I always
You
set my
can do it
waypoints
both
before,
ways.
because you can access the space map when you're on a planet.
And then you just look for your waypoint, and you press R, and you're gonna want to avoid pirates. I don't care because I'm basically empty. I have no lootables with me.
You need to go up or you're going to bump into some ship. You don't want to bounce off a mothership, trust
But
me.
if you are actually taking lootables with you, you're going to want to do evasive flying, which means you're going to want to go up to the left or down to the right, or
basically the general thing about evading pirates is fly in a direction that isn't commonly known. So by going up and to the left or going down to the right or to the left or whatever, it puts you on a flight path that isn't a common one that everybody uses, because a lot of people, when they get to space, they just, okay, there's my waypoint and go, and they go straight to it. And the thing is, pirates know that exactly where to wait for you if you do that. So a lot of people that get caught with pirates are caught that way because they're flying in a commonly known direction.
So for empty people like me that just don't care and have the stuff to fix your ship, if you do get hit by pirates, I just go straight. But for people like Solis that usually carries more stuff when he's going from planet to planet that needs to avoid the pirates, that's when you are going to want to use your evasive tactics.
Right, exactly. Now
And
the thing is,
it'll tell you when you enter lootable PvP, and on your radar,
you will not be able to see anybody on your radar.
you won't be able to see any, it'll be fuzzy, but your radar will also tell you that, because my skull is red,
Right.
and it says PvP zone, you may attack and be attacked by others.
Now
And
the yellow one, go ahead.
warning, you are close to an area where players can be looted, but it already showed us on my screen that it gave me the big
Right.
warning.
Now see, where she is now is she's in between lootable and non-lootable PvP. However,
No, I am in lootable space because it gave me the warning on top of my screen already.
okay, there is a little bit of an area in between the space station and lootable space that you can be attacked but not looted. but it's not very big. I think it's like maybe half an AU.
I'm on the
Yeah,
and
she's
you're
already
gonna want
past
to
it.
try to avoid these blue spots because that's where space mobs live.
And that particular one is the Calypso training grounds. Now, what are space mobs for? Well, the thing is, we mentioned you can get guns and things for your quad wings and your Sleipnir. There are space mobs out there that you can hunt. In fact, part of Mission Galactica, you have to do, I think, a few missions in space, blowing up robots and some other things. So, there are mobs in space that you can hunt, and they do drop bigger rewards. But the thing about that is, the guns for your ship, they're not so pricey, but the ammo burn on them is what prevents a lot of people from putting guns on their ship, because their ammo burn is about the same. Just the starting level 1 laser starts at like the same ammo burn as an LR-15, and a lot of people can't afford that. So a lot of people don't use them unless they're pirates or they're doing space hunting.
Yeah.
And
the guns are pricey in themselves too.
Well, they cost about as much as like an LR.
Between 80 and 90 ped.
Yeah, between 80 and 90 ped. And well, that depends. There's 2 weapons you can put on each ship. You can put a BLP weapon and a laser weapon. The BLP weapon costs about the same as, it's about 70 ped or so, and that's called the Porcupine. That's the one that goes, that your co-pilot controls. And then you've got the Kismet laser, that's a laser weapon. That's the one that the pilot controls. So when you are doing space combat or space hunting, you can solo these missions, but it's a good idea to have both weapons and have 2 people in your ship, so that not only can the pilot be shooting at stuff, but the co-pilot can also shoot at stuff.
If you're the co-pilot or the person in the second seat, passenger,
that's what I meant.
You use your own ammo and not the pilot's ammo when you're hunting.
That's another thing to think about.
Be aware of that.
When you are hunting with space weapons, they use your personal ammo. They won't use the ammo of the person flying the ship. They will use the ammo that you have in your inventory. So if you ain't got no ammo, but you got guns, you're still in, you're just kind of waving it around, showing people. So if you are going to do space mobs or go pirate hunting or whatever, make sure you have plenty of ammo in your personal carry, because that's where that ammo comes from. It's not a shared ammo thing. They talked about at some point making separate ammo for these weapons and making it so that you had to buy space weapon ammo and all that, but they decided it's just better to take it out of your ammo that you already have. So that's why it's like that. All right, through the magic of...
Wait, in a Sleipnir, it takes, for your AU to get to space, 8.3 AU. It takes real time to travel from planet to planet. And a Sleipnir, it's about 2.5 times your astronomical unit, or AU, to get there. And a quad, it's your AU times 1.5.
Yeah.
Okay. For your travel time in real time.
So we're going to Cyrene, so it won't take us very long to get there, but we're not going to make you guys sit through the whole trip. So
it takes me about 20-25 minutes, depending on if I go up to the left or down to the right. And if you do your evasive tactics, it takes longer to get to the planet you're going to. That's where Solis and I disagree. I think it takes longer. Solis doesn't. If you can try it yourself to see, because in my experience it takes longer, in his experience it doesn't.
Alright, so while we are traveling through space, we are going to use the time warp method, and we will see you guys in just a minute.
Pause. Hello, we're back, and you can see the space station, and we're a little over 1 AU away from the space station, and it's here on my right. And I don't want to land on the space station because I don't want to pay the 7 ped to teleport to the planet. I just want to go land directly on the planet to save myself ped.
That's a good point, because when you go to another planet, you don't have to go to the space station first. All you have to do is fly straight to the planet, and it'll allow you to land on it. Right?
Yes. And that is free, no charge.
Yeah, that doesn't cost anything. One thing I would like to mention, wait, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, later on in a more advanced space video, we will go over the weapons and the weapon slots and things like that. I just have to wait until I have the gear to show you what space combat is all about, and that'll probably be an exclusive for me. Melanie will probably be along with us making commentary, but she's not a very combat-oriented character, so.
We did not run it. The path that I took, I did not encounter any space mobs, and I did not encounter any pirates.
Right.
So it was a very uneventful, pretty much, I basically did it a little bit. It's my AFK. I went to the bathroom and...
Now, the thing is, space piracy does happen, but it doesn't happen like every day, or, you know, there's not like roving gangs of pirates. Usually it's generally 1 or 2 players, and they usually camp at the stations or near the stations. They won't go into deep space, because if they get into trouble, they can't just hurry up and go into the station and get away from you. That's why they don't venture very far away from space stations. But generally, when you're leaving a planet, the most dangerous part is when you first leave. That first 2 or 3 minutes is the most dangerous part of space. Once you're in space and nobody can see you, then the odds of finding you traveling is like slim to none.
And the last 2 or 3 minutes are the most dangerous when you're close to a space station.
Right, that's also correct. It's usually the last 2 or 3 minutes, and the first 2 or 3 minutes are the most dangerous. After that, you're pretty much home free, unless you run into space mobs, which those are easily avoidable, and those blue dots will not show up on your map until you discover those areas. You have to fly through them for them to show up on your map. However, there are maps online at multiple different websites that'll show you where all those are, so that you can kind of plan your route if you don't already have them in your map.
My last disciple, she wanted to drive in space, so we took her Sleipnir, and she ran into the space mobs. Space mobs do not loot you, only pirates. So, like, if you get killed in space by a space mob, you don't lose anything. You're gonna have to fix your ship, but other than that, and you get skills for repairing your vehicles.
That's what I was gonna say. If you do get blown out of the sky, it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's actually kind of beneficial, because you get spaceship command skills, you get captain skills, which both of those in space are your dodge and evade. That's what handles that. Mm-hmm. And you also get, your vehicle repair skills for fixing your ship. Another thing is if you get blown out of the sky, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. It will take some TT value off of your ship, but it's generally less than a ped.
I've gotten hit 4 or 5 times with both pirates and space mobs, and when I got my quad, it was at full TT, and it is at 3862. So for about the 10 times or so that I got hit, it's only taken about 4 ped off of my ship. Oh, right. And it goes...
It's time to land.
Do you want to land on planet Spring? Yes.
Now, if you have a passenger with you and they do not have the planet downloaded when you get there, it will warn you. You have to pay attention. It will warn you. Now, you can, when it warns you, what you need to do to make sure that they can go to the planet with you is wait until their download is finished. Once they're finished downloading the planet, then you can proceed to the planet.
Actually, it doesn't warn you.
Yes, it does.
It will tell you in your system tabs that they left the vehicle. That's how they warn you. Okay, in my experience, it's different than Solis's experience.
It's really hard to miss. I mean, it's really hard to catch because instead of the normal "Do you want to land on this planet?" dialogue, you get "Do you want to land on this planet? Be aware any passengers in your ship that doesn't have it downloaded will get kicked out of your ship." Is basically what it tells you.
I have never got that before.
Just because we make sure they have their planet downloaded by the time we get there, generally.
And if they will end up on the nearest space station, if they get ejected from your ship if they don't have it. So you will have to go back and get them, or they will have to come themselves, fly themselves the small distance. And let's see how much that took off my space thruster. View information, and look at my space thruster, and I had 360 when I left, and I'm at 320 now, so that took 40 peck off of my going from Calypso to Serene.
Now, I think if you go to planets that are farther away, it takes a little bit more off depending on the distance. I'm not sure. We haven't really sat down and done a let's go here and compare how much it takes off of our space thruster thing yet. So, but it does take some pet off of your space thruster each time you go into space. The amount, I do believe, varies by the distance, but I'm not certain on that.
Okay, and I'm going, and when you come into Serene, you come in at Space Labs, and then you just look for the Space Labs platform, and you land there. And I'm looking for the repair unit, which is right here. So I need to equip my refiner. And of course it's going to push R. That's not what I want to do. We have a bad keyboard. We can't see any of the letters on it.
Yeah, that keyboard's so old, all the paint's worn off the letters.
So then you take your sweat crates, you put it back in here, and you go refine. And it takes less TT to put it back to the regular sweat and see it. Put it with my regular sweat. And
presto.
Then you just...
Now, one thing you'll notice when she's done refining all these crates back into sweat is that her carry weight will go back down to normal.
And that's why you have to stand at a repair terminal, because...
Yeah, as we mentioned, this is really hard on a refiner. So the higher TT refiner you have, the better, but it's still going to take a good chunk out of it.
It's still going to take the same amount of head value off for refining it.
And as we said, a regular TT refiner works just fine. You'll just have to repair it more often than you would a named one, like, say, the Imperium one that I have. But it still works. It all works the same.
Well, I cannot repair a sweat crate. I just found that out.
Yeah, sweat crates aren't repairable.
Okay, and now I have my 15K sweat back again.
And you'll notice her carry weight is back down to 310 over 344.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And yes, I want to repair that back again. Yes. Okay. And then go to your storage. You throw your blueprints, because I took all my blueprints when I left.
Yeah, and then like we said, once you get to the planet, you can just chuck everything in the storage that you brought with you and all that kind of stuff, and that's pretty much the basics of space flight in a nutshell. Do you have anything else to add?
And see, I'm walking normally again since I don't have all the weight on me. Each planet you can go into when you land, it's a certain area.
Yeah, we
already covered that though.
Yeah, now the thing is, when you land, you're always going to land on a planet in the same place unless they change it, which I don't see that happening because that's more of an entry point thing.
You do want to be careful and not leave necessarily where you enter, because there are people that spot for pirates.
Right.
And if you're loaded down normally like Solis is when he goes from one place to another, you're not going to want to leave from the normal entry point.
Right. That's another thing. If you're carrying a lot of stuff, you have a lot of stuff that you need to move and it's pretty risky. You never want to take off from the entry point because as she mentioned, pirates do have people that spot for them. If you end up on a station, right, for whatever reason, and you look over towards where the typical NPCs are standing there, the way they do this is they put their spotter over there with those NPCs to make them look like they're one of the NPCs. But the way you spot somebody doing that is you just hover your cursor over them. If they're a normal player, they will have a normal player nameplate. That's how you know they're spotting for somebody.
When I TP'd here, it spawned me into the fence.
Yeah, that happens.
So I'm gonna have to tee out.
When we do our space combat video, I'll see if I can find somebody that's doing spotting. I have a good idea where to look for people like that, so it'll be a little risky, but I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So, all right. Is there anything else you would like to add, or do you think that about does it?
I think that about does it. Space travel, a lot of people, we warn people about the pirates because you need to be warned about the pirates.
Yeah, you do need to be aware of that, but they are easily avoidable if you know what to do.
And it's not scary or anything like you've seen. Most of the time when Solis and I were talking with you about it, we didn't encounter anybody, see anything, and I wasn't even at the keyboard most of the time.
Now, one thing you do want to be aware of, now when different planets have their various events, like Arcadia, Gold Rush, and when they have their special monthly events and things like that, or sometimes during Mayhem or Migration, pirates will camp certain stations because they know people that are going to those planets are likely bringing back good stuff to their home planet. So do be aware that during events, like planetary events and Mayhems and Migration and the little mini events and things that they have, there will be increased pirate activity. But as I said, if you know what to do, it's fairly easy to avoid them because all you have to do is get out of their sight within that first couple of minutes and they'll never find you again. So
you can there's a monthly event on next island, and it is the first Saturday of the month, and there is a privateer. It's actually, I can tell you which one it is if I look in my thing. Spacefinder 28 does free warps that day if you to next island for the next island event on the first Saturday of the month, and that is a free warp for everybody. But to get back to where you're going, you're gonna have to either fly yourself or
ride with somebody,
or either pay for a warp or see if they're offering free warps back to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So there are free warps that you can take.
Yeah, there are ways of going into space without having to use your own equipment. Like BIG Industries has free warps every Sunday, I believe, after their SSI events generally, or is it before?
It's every Sunday after the SSI event.
Melanie would be the one to talk to about that more than me because I don't attend those events very often.
Actually, I will tell you to go hold of a big representative, a BIG representative.
Right, and you can ask if you're at SSI. You can ask the host. They're generally knowledgeable about that. Or you can do as Melanie suggests and get a hold of a BIG representative, which there's several.
On the Sundays that they do offer the free warps, they will have notifications in Rookie. If you're in a place that sweats, they will have that in Local, and whatever planet that you're on, if it has a planetary chat, they will also advertise in the planetary chat that you're on. However, if you're going to Toulon or Rocktropia, they do not offer warps to those planets because they do not have events on those two planets.
They don't have events.
They are talking about doing events on Rocktropia now, but they haven't implemented them yet.
Yeah, last time I heard they were still trying to figure all that out. So coming soon to Rocktropia, there may be an SSI event there daily as well, like there is everywhere else. We're just waiting for more details on that. When we have them, we will let you guys know for sure. But until then, we're just kind of waiting to hear from them.
And I will be the one to know before Solis, because I do a lot of things with
Yeah, she'll know before I do. Because like I said, she's more of a character that's oriented around that type of gameplay, and I am not. I am mostly purely combat and hunting and that kind of thing. So she does a lot more of that.
I do a lot of swunting
than I do.
He does a lot of hunting.
Which, like I said, gives us both a different perspective on things that we talk about in our videos, which, that's always fun.
Yes, we are husband and wife, but we have two very different play styles.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
We covered everything about the space.
All right, guys. We appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us so far. Our channel is growing. Thank you very much for that.
I remembered something. There is a chat for space travel.
Two of them, actually. There's space travel and space.
And if you are looking for a warp, you can message in those channels to see if a warp, if you're carrying too much to bring.
Right. I will put the channel links in the description for those that may want to use them. I highly recommend that you do join those channels when you're traveling in space, because that's where you're going to find out if there's pirates running around or not.
I didn't even check those channels
before
I left.
We're kind of lazy with that kind of stuff, but
like I said, nothing other than the 33 units of sweat that I had could have been pirated.
Right, and not only that, we've been killed enough times in space to know that it's really not that big a deal, and it can actually be beneficial for your skills, because you do get skills when you die and all that. But anyway, thank you guys for all the support you've been showing us so far. The channel is growing. We do appreciate that. Look forward to more content coming. I'd say in the next few days, we're going to start stepping up our game a little bit and doing a little bit more work on a few things as far as the channel goes. But that's it for now, and we will see you guys later. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and let everybody know that we are in the Content Creators Club now. So, all right. That's it for now.
Goodbye. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
If you have questions, I will be more than happy to answer your questions in the game too.
That's one more thing before we go. If you guys ever have any questions about our videos or something we may have covered in our videos is unclear to you, feel free to reach out to us in game. We have no problems, you know, clearing things up and explaining things in a better way that may make more sense to you if that's what you need. So feel free to hit us up if you have questions about anything in our videos, and we'll be happy to answer them for you.
Good night.
See you guys later.
Which has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear.